Now, booyah, here we are. We should be live right now on YouTube. We're live on Instagram on the San Diego Dynasty page.
Booyah.
Booyah.
Here we are.
So great, everything's working. We're live again. Welcome to a special, scoot this thing over like that. There we go. I'm still working on how to get Kyle in on this, this thing. So welcome to a Tuesday edition of Monday Night Live with Ryan and Kyle. We're doing a Tuesday edition because, as some of you guys may have known, the NXL was supposed to make an announcement last Tuesday. Then they decided they were going to drop it today. I literally, 1 minute ago, just hung up with Tom Cole, the president of the league. He shared some juicy details about kind of what they're planning on doing, how they're going to do it. So some of the stuff I'm going to share there. For those of you guys who are on Instagram right now, jump over to YouTube. Just type in the YouTube bar, type in Ryan Greenspan, and this live show right here, that's on the computer right there and right here, will pop up. For those of you guys who are joining us on YouTube, thank you very much for coming. Yep, there we go. Shoot in the comment section. Give us a thumbs up or a hello. We appreciate that. Shout out to Leo Wyatt. Your package went out today. Congratulations.
Did we figure out the volume music thing? Are we?
Oh yeah, let's turn the music off. We had the music off the whole time. Watch this.
Figure out the
Yeah, let's see here. Background music and off.
It's off now?
Yeah.
It
So-
looks like it's pumping there.
It does. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Music
All right,
off.
cool.
So we got this whole studio thing that we're working on. That's also why we switched over to this whole YouTube channel. But all right, if you guys are on Instagram, I'm hanging up right now on you. Join the YouTube live. Search Ryan Greenspan. You can't miss us. We're gonna be doing some giveaways. I got some neck gaiters. Kyle's got some giveaway stuff. We'll see you there. So for those of you guys joining us on the YouTube channel, thank you very much. We'll be here every week. But yeah, like I said, we were waiting for some news from the NXL, so I'll just jump straight into that. We've got a bunch. This is gonna be a really good show today. We've got a bunch of stuff cooking for you guys.
Before we jump into that,
Yep.
should we talk about some giveaways? You have
Yes.
to be present at the end of the show
That's
to
right.
win.
That's right.
I got 2 this week because you're always giving away a bunch of stuff.
Let's see it.
And I'm not giving away a bunch of stuff. So first one is this BKI shirt that I have on right now. I'm going to give that away at the end of the show. Just as we
This
go.
one right here. Or the
This one right here, but I have a second one here.
Okay.
This guy here.
Alright.
Size large, BKI summer camp shirt. To win this guy, as we go throughout the show, I just want you to talk about your favorite paintball drill. It doesn't have to be a BKI drill, just in general, your favorite drill and why it's your favorite drill. Spark some conversation and maybe
You want them?
we can
put that in the comments.
Yeah, put that in the comments. Your favorite paintball drill and why it's your favorite paintball drill.
There we
Doesn't
go.
have to be a BKI specific drill, just in general. And then the next one I'm going to give away is a shirt from my clothing line, Lyle Karen. I'm going to give away this shirt here. I have a ton of sizes in it. And to win this one, while we go through the show, head over to the Lyle Karen Instagram.
There we go.
And that's LYLEKAREN. I'll put it in the. Ryan's gonna put it in the chat here.
At LYLEKAREN.
LEKAREN.
At Lyle Cameron on Instagram. Go over there, like
Send-
it, follow it.
Follow it if you don't already. Send me a message, and then I'm gonna look through the messages and randomly pick a winner at the end. So
There we go.
those are mine too today.
And then for 3 of you lucky players, lucky watchers out there, you guys, we've got Field 1 just dropped a couple of these COVID neck gaiters. You can be very fashionable. It works as it doubles up as a warm turtleneck also.
Wow. There you
I
go.
cut mine in half. That means I have 2 of them. Well, I have a whole bag of them. But I cut mine in half. That way, I can put one in my car. I can put one in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And when you need to, this is the move. I found that this is actually the move when you're on an airplane because you just got a little bit more airflow, which may or may not be a good thing. But
Definitely more comfortable.
definitely more comfortable. So shout out to Nova Gaming who ran the gauntlet last weekend. That sounds like fun. Step up the game, Kevin Gorchinski says. He says he's already got that T-shirt. Well, follow Lyle Karen, shoot Kyle a comment on there, and he'll choose a winner from there. I'm gonna give 3 of these away. I'm gonna give 1 away just to any random participant that is in the comment section, that is liking, that is sharing. I don't know if you can share these. I don't know how that works on YouTube, but you guys are going to just comment in there. Be active on all of that, and then 2 other players that are going to be I have Lori and Anthony that are going to be looking through in the last 10 minutes of this video. They're going to scroll through there at random and find 2 players who are current BKI members. So if you're not a BKI member, then you might not qualify for the other 2 unless you sign up right now. The link is in the bio. Or, we'll get you next week with some more BKI plans. They also informed me of the upcoming content for BKI. We've got Kyle's 3-piece diving drill, which will actually also be set up tomorrow night at Boston Paintball Maynard at the outdoor field. So Kyle can give us a little insight into that in a second. We also have got Marcelo's field layout breakdown with Marcelo and Nick Sloviak. And then Team USA, the kids are back at it, and they're going to be practicing October 17th and 18th at PB Fit. So if you guys are in the PB Fit area and you guys want to see some raw young talent, get up there. You want to jump into your drill that's going to be released on BKI this week?
Yeah, so the drill I did was kind of a little bit more of an advanced diving technique that you can use. It's mainly it's not necessarily how to dive, but it's how to change your positioning while you're in the middle of the dive. So a lot of people you see will either overslide a bunker or underslide a bunker, and they're getting clipped on one of the outsides of that sweet spot that you're trying to get to. So I talk a lot about different types of terrain, if it's raining, if it's muddy, and then the different techniques you can do by using that other free arm that you have, and also your legs, to either stop you if you feel like you have too much momentum, or help you get that extra little quick burst into the snake. So, and I've done them in full speed and then also in slow motion, so you can really see how I'm using my body, and then also trying to angle your body in the middle of a dive and turn your body, which basically for a snake player reduces how much your body's shown. So you don't want to dive straight in and have your body across that flat plane. You almost want to angle it so there's less of a target to shoot at as you're sliding into the snake. And then there's another one to end it off, sliding in the corner, kind of like that side baseball slide.
Okay, lateral slide, yeah.
With a leg plant to get you to bring your gun up right on the tape. So go check those out. They're pretty good. Yeah,
it is important kind of understanding a lot of that. And one thing we've always talked about, or quite a bit, was like not redoing a lot of the drills, but getting different insight from different professors about the specific drills that are on there, right? So you might have heard my sliding technique and drills over and over again, but then Kyle might have like a slight iteration on that that's going to really like help you guys out. So definitely worth checking all that stuff out. Again, we need to, we're obviously pumping BKI as much as we possibly can, but like right now, and this is going to easily segue into the next topic that we want to talk about, but it's like taking advantage of this downtime as much as you can by studying as much as you can. I know I get messages from one of our campers and new BKI member, Justin Jones. So I'm not sure if he's in here. I didn't see if he made it today, but Justin has been pretty active in learning a lot of the new stuff in the last, month and a half, right? So camp was about maybe 2 months ago, month and a half. And he's been on there, like, just soaking up as much of the information as possible. And then he's been commenting back, like, hey, this is epic. Like, this is helping me in this part of my game. I'm going to utilize this next weekend. So this is, like, the perfect example. And then, like, to segue that, and I know this is how you feel, and I think you said it just the other day, like, this is the best opportunity that most of you guys watching have to get a leg up on your competition.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Especially from, like, the guys that are grinding on the semi-pro or the divisional, high divisional rank level, to get a leg up on pro teams.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of like why, the NXL, the World Cup, is still happening. But we talked about it because Kyle and I played paintball for the first time since the summer camp.
Yeah.
Right? We played a big game at the summer camp, and that was mid-July. And then before that...
Like a couple,
three or 4 weeks before that at ASG. Other than that, we haven't been able to play paintball for 2 months.
Yeah.
So, like, to say we were rusty and out of shape is an understatement. you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, I was like, we need to get back in paintball shape because the analogy I love is that like for a lot of you guys that know how to snowboard, that's not something that you do. I mean, maybe for some every weekend, but if you know how to snowboard, you know that on that first day, the next day you wake up, you're super sore. And paintball is the same way. I mean, we've been doing it for so long that it's not necessarily that we get sore, but those muscles don't have that muscle endurance that they usually do, which adds to that fatigue.
And then just the simple things. Remember, like, I'm gonna share this just because it was embarrassing, but it's really important. I do is like I dove into the snake right in front of Kyle and like my gun slipped out of my hands.
Yeah.
I caught it, but like I felt like a bozo, and I say that because if you ever, I'll say it to anybody out there, is like the one thing I always advocate is just being able to control your gun, control your marker, right?
Yep.
So if anybody's ever walking around and they're holding their gun with any other part of the actual marker than just the grip where the trigger is, like not fingers on the trigger, but holding from the grip. You never want to hold it from the here. You don't want to hold it from the barrel. You don't want to hold it from the walk around like it's a briefcase. You always want to be comfortable with the gun in your hand.
Sure.
Holding it from the grip. Just to keep that like grip strength up, just to keep it all comfortable. And I haven't been doing that. And like, I think the last time I dropped my gun was on the paintball field was in 1997 when I got shot in the balls.
Jesus.
Running up the tape at a Great Western field. I was thinking about it. Like,
Yeah.
I never dropped my gun.
Yeah.
Like, you don't drop your gun unless you're Blake Yarber. But he also doesn't hold his gun normally. He's always holding it from the rag, or he's holding it from the barrel, or he's holding it like this.
Yeah.
He's always holding his gun in some weird, strange way. And
Yeah.
I always nag on him, and I go, look, keep that muscle memory up by like holding your gun. Obviously, no one ever wants to hear that.
No.
At our level, but I dropped my gun. That's how we were rolling this weekend. So it happens to the best of us, but
I still like my technique to hold it where, if I know I'm running to take off the brake and I'm not going to be shooting before the countdown's going, I shoot a ball into the ground and then I hold that trigger, which allows me to get that full grip on the gun. So I'm not like this, like trying to not hit the trigger. And honestly, I'll do that sometimes as I leave my bunker. If I'm going from the insert bunker to the snake, as I know I'm shooting that last ball, I'll just hold the trigger down, and that gives me a good sturdy grip on the gun.
Oh yeah. Well, there we go. So I mean that was something about being rusty, but like just being able to and I think you said it to some of those guys, you're like, dude, this is your perfect opportunity to get a leg up.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, with that being said, that's a general concern for pro players right now.
Yeah.
Paintball Fit has been open. Central Florida Paintball has been open. New York Extreme guys seem to be playing a lot. Harrison Fry's at Boston Paintball.
DMG
Maynard,
guys are playing
almost
a lot.
every DMG guys. I mean, despite this crazy smoke that we have in the air, are like on the field grinding, and here we are where Pendleton has been closed since March 12th.
Yeah.
And it just opened for us.
Yeah.
Last weekend.
Yeah.
And other than that, we used to go to ASG, but there was an interesting issue there. And then the only field in Southern California, close within an hour and a half drive from us, has 13 or 14 teams at it. So you don't really get an opportunity to get on the field if you're mixing in like that.
Oh no.
It was also 116 degrees there last weekend.
Yeah.
119 degrees in Ojai last weekend. Too.
Wow. Yeah, I was coaching a team
Yeah.
at Ambush, which is up there, like Simi Valley area. It was 113.
Mm-hmm.
Super
So
hot. But those up there too, like I know a lot of those mutiny guys have been up there playing, and they even asked, and I forgot to tell you this, but they're like, "Ooh, if you guys want to come up and practice, and like, dude, we'll bring you some paint, and and then we'll come back down to you guys at Pendleton." Like, and those are the guys that should definitely
right there
really be putting in a lot of work right now, because the longer that this goes on, there's going to be a little bit. It's not like you're going to see a huge skill drop, but you'll definitely see a huge increase in skill from those players that are putting in the work right now.
Right. They're gonna be able to close the gap a lot more. And then a team like AC Dallas, you know what I mean? Like, I think I was just listening to Mike Heyman's podcast, and he mentioned that as well. Like, those guys are right there, and the fact that their paintball field has been open this entire time, and so that's like a huge advantage that they have, being really close to the paintball field and having the opportunity to go play there as much as possible. Without a lot of the fields out here only have one tournament field. So if you only have one tournament field and you're mixing on with 13 guys, that's going to be tough to get out there and do any drills.
For sure.
I mean, that's going to be big, and I think that is going to like lead into possibly, which I think we're already going to announce, is like some teams not playing World Cup because of this.
Yeah.
So just a quick breakdown on World Cup. Right now, they're going to announce registration very soon, probably this week, and it will be extremely limited for teams for obvious reasons. They're planning, I believe, again, just wait for the announcement, but to have about 4 fields, possibly more depending on the government restrictions and what the local, enforcement and safety procedures or precautions allow them to. They're not going to have grandstands. They're going to have like an extended VIP, which will have like seats that are kind of not movable seats. So,
sure.
It'll force people to be socially distanced. I know that the vendors area will be limited. There is talk about having a morning and afternoon division. I don't know how that'll work. That's not official by any means. And which would say, like, you can't be here. If you have a 9 a.m. and a 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. game, you can't be here at 4 p.m. Coughing on people.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, masks will be mandatory for any kind of social environment engagements. But like, I guess I want to ask a lot of you guys out there, and obviously I'm going to ask Kyle, but do you guys feel comfortable going to big events? Would you guys feel comfortable playing? Would you guys feel comfortable with a large scale of event with 1,000 people at it, going to World Cup? I don't know, but I mean, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I feel fine with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. We've been obviously, traveling a little bit, and I'm not, super worried about it. I don't know, obviously you want to keep precautions. I'm more so, I feel like being careful for the other people that I'm interacting with. I think that just what we've seen so far, that, even if you do happen to get it, it's I'm pretty confident with my immune system that I'll be able to kick something like that. But obviously, it's something you want to avoid, but I'm not going to stop kind of living my life and doing things
for sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously, with having a kid and everything like that, precautions are a big thing, and I think that I'm responsible enough to be able to take the necessary precautions. Sure. I've never liked shaking anybody's hands. I think I said that before. I know Alex turned me off of this, but my one of my really good friends back in the day, Colt Cannon, was a big time, massive like pro skater.
Yeah.
Like talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. That guy. Yeah. He was a dominator, and he goes, dude, let me tell you this. He goes, do you shake people's hands? I go, kinda, yeah, because I already knew where this was going. And he goes, I don't ever shake anybody's hands. He goes, I don't shower when I go on these things for like weeks at a time. I know how grungy I am. And he goes, I don't know the person that wants to shake my hand.
Yeah.
And I know that they don't. If they knew me, they wouldn't want to shake my hand.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to do knuckle bumps, and he's always said that, like, just put your knuckles out.
Yeah.
But it's so weird. You get some people who, like, you put them, they'll just like shake your hand like this.
Yeah.
And I know that back then it was a sign of there's a sign of disrespect, or like some people are like really handshakers. That's their thing. So I'm kind of glad now that I don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm happy with being like, yeah, what's up, dude?
Well, it's good too. So you're not like on the plane too, especially like you might be more inclined to like touch your face, or pick your nose or whatever.
Dude,
it is.
I pick my nose all the time.
Yeah, like,
and you know
on the
what?
plane, and you're touching all this stuff, and then you don't even think about it, and your hands aren't clean.
Yeah.
So it's like a good reminder, just in general, for hygiene.
Handshaking was a lousy practice to begin with. I'll tell you what. So I don't know. I want to get everybody else's thoughts on that, because, and the reason I say that is because we heard, and this is kind of one of the big announcements, that the Ironmen will not be attending World Cup. There's a couple of reasons for that, but some of the underlying issues are the COVID issue. It's not official. Yeah, definitely no hugs. It's not official, but that's from what I understand and from what I've heard through the grapevine. It's that, and then a couple of the players, because of the lack of access to quality paintball fields in the San Diego region.
Yeah.
They just haven't been playing paintball.
Yeah.
And I totally understand that. But between now and then, you could easily get yourself in shape to practice. Like, we could be playing every weekend leading up to World Cup. We could be playing like we can't really play on the weekdays because no fields open on the weekdays for us. I think Combat Paintball 3 hours north, 3.5 hours
Yeah.
north is open on Friday nights.
Yeah.
But other than that, that is a big issue. But I'm confident that I can be prepared physically, mentally, and with my skills.
Sure. Yeah.
Knocking off the rust.
But yeah, that's pretty wild if that is what happens, especially with the Ironman after just coming off a win. You know?
Also, you don't win a tournament in 16 years and you finally get one.
Yeah.
Go out on top, baby.
Yeah, true. So
go out on top.
And then there was some rumors going around about Russians maybe not being able to come.
So the word was for a while that no countries were really going to be allowing anybody in.
Yeah.
There are some countries that are shut down.
And that could even be like Canada for our team.
And that's why I asked you. I said, have you heard anything from Canadians? Because are Canadians allowed to go back? Because for a brief moment in time, as a matter of fact, even when we were doing the summer camp, that was something we were wary of because Boston or Massachusetts in general was like, if you're from one of these large, like these hot spots for COVID,
New York,
Texas, Florida, California, Arizona, they're like, we don't want you guys in our state. So if you guys come, there's a possibility, a looming possibility that there was going to be a mandatory quarantine.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of people who work, Pat Kraft mentioned this to us, and then our buddy G Hop's fiance, if they leave the state, there's a mandatory 2-week quarantine that they have to take from their work.
And not getting paid.
So they're not getting paid for 2 weeks. So if they want to go to like visit California or go play in the Midwest event or go play World Cup, they do that knowing that when they come back, they won't have a job for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So with that being said, randomly this afternoon, Malloy from Russians, actually I commented on one of their posts about coming to World Cup, and he messaged me directly and said, yes, we're coming to World Cup. We can go. He actually asked me, is World Cup happening? And I go, I'm pretty sure. I should have said tune in at 4 p.m.
Yeah. That's how he has to watch.
So yeah, speaking of which, shout out to Patch if you're watching. I know there's a couple of you guys out in Europe watching, staying up till midnight or 1 in the morning to watch this. So we do appreciate that, along with everybody who's tuning in. So VG was not able to go back. Yeah, VG is actually in Sacramento. He moved to Sacramento. That was a crazy story. He came from Colombia and fought tooth and nail to get to the United States, and now he's kind of stuck here, which is a good thing because that's kind of like something he wants anyhow.
Yeah. It's going to help. He has a lot more access to better paintball experiences.
Better everything, from what we understand. I guess kidnappings and shootings were a pretty regular occurrence for him and his family. So shout out to VG, which we say, oh, he must be safe now, but he showed me a picture of him and it was just like that orange ash look, because he's up in Sacramento, which is full of smoke. I don't know, Dizon and Kevin, you guys are up from up there. How's the smoke, the air quality? And shout out to anybody who's a firefighter right now. And up there battling those blazes up in Northern California, especially, and then the greater LA place. So, right on. So yeah, like I don't know. I definitely don't feel prepared if World Cup was tomorrow. If Tom said, "Hey, World Cup's happening. You got to get on a plane tomorrow and come fly." And your first game is against AC Dallas, or like one of the Texas teams, or even Damage. I would say, all right. I'm just really not feeling prepared. I probably wouldn't back down from the challenge, but I would definitely be something like that. That would be very concerning for me, is being prepared. And then with that being said, is like, how do you stay motivated and still become competitive? I know I talked to one of the fathers from a Team USA player who isn't living in. Shout out to VG, there he is right there. One of the players who's on Team USA, his father, and they're not from a place that is very has a lot of paintball going on in it. They have to travel to play paintball, and right now traveling is not the easiest thing for a lot of people to do. And with that being said, like, how do you stay motivated, right? I said any kind of, because if you're just doing drills by yourself, like at one point in time, it's like, how am I standing up against anybody else? Like, this is what we're talking about. You're losing that ground. So if you're on the cusp of becoming a semi-pro player and you're right there, or you're on the cusp of making a Team USA or making you were right there with Vegas, like maybe you played and you were like, this is my breakout year. Yeah. And then now you're stuck somewhere where there's no access to paintball fields, there's very little access,
or it's far.
And your plan was to be traveling quite a bit for all that. So that is a very valid question. Is like, how do you stay motivated? How do you stay competitive? I mean, Marcelo is now a golfer. Everybody's found their own like little niche thing to do. I saw
and A-Rod from the Ironman. He's like heavy in the
music.
He's
over it, Yeah.
I heard he's working at a guitar shop and doing sales for them and just crushing it.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. I'm sure. I mean, imagine going in there and be like, "Hey, which guitar should I get?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Let me show you this."
Yeah.
I want to get that. Yeah,
exactly.
That's a good one, right?
Yeah,
for sure. So yeah, it is very difficult. And then you see like we said, you see those guys that are on team, the DMG team that are grinding. You see AC Diesel, the whole AC camp.
Yeah.
All those guys playing, and it's like, oh, I want to play so badly.
Yeah.
And if you were right there on this is your breakout year, and you're now kind of like stuck, then
I mean, that was even
tough.
What I said to you, because we have that pro invitational coming up in Columbus, Ohio, the following weekend, and I was like, I need to practice one day, like wherever it is, and I'm coaching teams both of these weekends, and I'm trying to find a day. So luckily we got that Saturday in, but then hopefully I have a day off on Sunday, and I was like, maybe I can try to play that day also, but just to get ready and prepared, just because we haven't had as many opportunities.
No, for sure. And I mean, the orange air quality, Kevin, up there is bad. Gabe had a cabin up in Estes Park and got put on standby for evacuations a couple days ago. Jeremy, to answer your question, how about this? If you feel comfortable, play. If not, don't. That's obviously why we're asking. And in order to hold a large-scale event, you can't just be like, hey, if you want to come, come. If you don't, screw it.
Yeah.
And then roll the dice, and when you have $500,000 on the line to produce these events. So you need to figure it out. Like, we have to discuss this sort of stuff, because if you throw an event and you're wrong and nobody shows up, or even worse, you throw an event and you don't take the necessary safety precautions and people get sick on your watch and as a cause of you, like that's a huge moral liability. You know what I mean? So like, you have to ask these questions, because if people are unsure, and this is a great example, was the summer camp. Anthony called every single person going to the summer camp in advance to see how comfortable they were about traveling, also to reassure them that everything on the camp we're going to be taking precautions for. And with that being said, I mean, I'm very happy to announce that I haven't heard of one issue spawning from the summer camp, and all the regulations and the safety precautions that we took.
Yeah.
So it is incredibly important to have a discourse with your fan base and followers. Maybe perhaps some of you guys aren't going to go to World Cup, but that actually is a good answer. Like, you obviously seem to be comfortable with it, so I'll count you in to see you at World Cup. But we need to make sure that you're not the only one and you're not the outlier. We need to make sure that there are people that are comfortable with doing that. Sorry, that was good. And Broderick, motivations with the sevens not on is tough for sure. I mean, I don't know if I talked to Maka from I'm just gonna say from Brisbane, because that's where he lives. I don't even know what team he played. Eskimo Bros, I think. Right now, I talk to him pretty regularly, and he's saying that paintball is kind of tough to do down in Australia as well. So we feel for you guys, and I see some of the expendable guys kind of holding the little events there, but they've been pretty solid out in New Zealand. So
Bruce really quickly asked how old we are. I actually just turned 30 years old. In
Bruce,
July. Ryan, you just turned 31.
I'll be 39 in a couple of months in February.
And he said he's going to be 37, and he wants to trade ages with someone 30. But I mean, look at this guy; he's still crushing it. It's paintball is a big mental game. As long as you physically are out there, it's like, dude, we talked about the other weekend, like Shane House crushing. He's playing some of his best paintball right now. Thomas Taylor, like. It's a big mental game. And actually, like, this brings up a good thing I want to talk about. I was listening to, I was going back because Marcelo and Tyler have been pumping out so many podcasts.
Yeah,
and, like, I haven't had a chance to listen to it. So I've been going back and listening to different people. And I was listening to Archie's, and he made a really good point in his. And he's like, paintball, when you get to a certain level, it's very repetitive. And it's, fundamentally, everyone is about the same level. And that goes for each division. He's like, the biggest part for me that I think is you basically have this Rolodex of past experiences and how to handle each situation. And he's like, it's your memory bank pulling that up really quick really quickly and how to execute what you want to do faster than the other person. So, I think it, obviously there is a physical aspect to it, but the mind is something that's probably a little bit more important,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's for sure. And I mean, that's one of the things that makes paintball so great, right?
Yeah.
And having the ability to be able to process the information, staying physically fit is definitely a tough thing to do. Okay. But when you're a 40-year-old can be very physically fit.
Yeah.
You might get a little more sore, a little more easily
Yeah.
here and there. But while 30 years old is probably like right in your prime or your peak, right around 33, 30 to 33 in my opinion. But
we're not in the NFL here.
Yeah,
so
we're not in the NFL.
Like
it's not like I'm really getting blasted out there.
And
right?
I mean, just the way technology and health and everything is these days, it's like you can be 50 and still in peak physical condition, as long as you stay in that routine for 10, 20 years, like your body's going to stay relatively, obviously it takes a little bit more recovery time and you have to be a little bit more careful about joints and stuff like that. But other than that, you see a ton of these guys just like ultra marathon runners and all this stuff that are like in their 50s,
actually, and that actually reminds me, we did get a comment on one of the Facebook pages on my Facebook page about like kind of a nutrition question, like what do you guys do? And I forgot whose name it was. We'll pull it up right here, but that's actually a really good question, because there are, like Kyle said, so many different supplements out there that you can take, so many things for help recovery. Where when I was 30, I mean, talk about 8 to 10 years ago, I think people drank muscle milk. Like protein shakes were kind of a thing that people were starting to do, but there was no, like all the other stuff, like no one was doing ice baths. Next one down, this one, yeah, there's 10 comments on there. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of the preventative and a lot of the post performance workout stuff that's out there was not around 10 years ago, or maybe if it was not like in the mainstream whatsoever.
No.
So you actually have more access now. Now, granted, that doesn't really answer the question of it would maybe be better to be 30 right now, but your mind is a lot more developed. Your ability to break down situations and possibly understand, and your ability to not be so frustrated when challenge occurs.
Sure.
Because you have those extra several years under your belt. So I could argue that, it's okay to play paintball when you're that age. And that's what makes paintball such a great sport. And that was one thing that we wanted to talk about, Like a couple of parents reached out to us talking about, about supporting their kids. And they just like, we wanted to talk about a little bit what makes paintball so, like, why is it so special to us, and what makes it so great, I'll let you.
I mean, to kind of add on to that, there's, something I was thinking about the other day, and I was kind of like taking a look back on like, the last 10 years of my life, like what stood out to me that I'm really proud of myself or whatnot. And it was like the biggest sacrifices and the biggest struggles and the stuff that I, stayed disciplined with to, that was the most satisfying thing that I could look back, whether it's like, going back to school or sacrificing all these things to, play paintball. And then you have all those like middle things that you're like, oh, I got to go to Las Vegas one weekend. That was really great. I spent $3,000. I wasted $3,000. Like, you don't think about those little things. You think about the stuff that you actually like worked hard for and committed to. Not the like, oh, I met this cute girl and I took her out on a date. She was super hot. Whatever it is, like those things you don't really like think about. And I think that applies so much to paintball. And you're kind of seeing it. I don't think we're seeing as big of an influx of players these days that are taking these top pros off the top, because there's so many different distractions nowadays that are, you're like, I could go to the paintball field this weekend to practice, but maybe I'll just go to the beach or whatever, because a couple of my friends hit me up last minute on Friday night, even though I was planning to go play paintball on Saturday. But there's not going to be that many people at the field, so I'm just going to go to the beach. Stuff like that is what, that instant instant gratification. Yeah, it's going to be, a lot more fun, and maybe you might not have the opportunity later. But I promise you, when you look back 5-10 years down the line, you're going to be thankful that you took those sacrifices. Like the harder things in life are what you're going to value more. Like, at the end, when you look back on it, those are the things that, if it feels hard right now, going through those struggles are actually, you're going to be thankful for that. And that's anything in life. And you probably already have those experiences that you can look back on and evaluate that. So
yeah, that's very well said. Obviously, that's a huge important impact, like, in factor about kind of how to process a lot of that stuff.
On top of that, like, I mean, as single, we didn't have a big father figure growing up. As only child, like, paintball fosters this like family and brothership relationship, not only so that it gives you those mentors and those friendships, but also because it teaches you lessons. Like, a lot of people these days, because of the like digital age that we're in, can be more so introverted. So it's helping you like learn personal skills and networking skills and all these other facets of life that are important, what not just applying to paintball, that is, super important, I think.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, and like the fact that it's not a single ball focal point makes it such a bigger sport, right? It's because, and I've said this and I use this phrase all the time, but like let's go, Gabe, you said, I wish he played paintball instead of football when he was younger. Could have been in a different place for sure. Well, absolutely, but the one thing about mainstream sports is, like, if Kyle and I were to go play basketball with a bunch of our taller friends, we wouldn't get the ball much. We'd be running around, or if we did, maybe they'd pass it to us and we'd pass it back. We'd be stuffed. But if you went, any of the guys that you're here in the chat box came and played paintball with us, like, look at Corey Hall's buddy, RT, came out. And he was just like, I've never played paintball with pros, or I played paintball with pros once before. And we're just like, hey, where do you want to play? Like, cool. We can trust that you're going to be, because the gun, they say, is the great equalizer, but like the mere fact that every person on the field has a direct effect on the outcome of the game means that there's no way to discriminate against anybody on the field. Where, like I said, if they choose not to pass us the ball, that's a choice that anybody can choose to do when it's a one ball sport.
Sure.
But if you're like, all right, we got Ryan, damn it, like, okay, hey Ryan, go wherever, dude. We'll figure it out. Well, at the end of the day, like, I still possess the power to be able to equalize the game. And, like, if someone's like, all right, well, we'll just stick him in the corner or something. Like, I might make a move that could win the game. And that could maybe not actually occur if we were playing in a one ball sport.
Sure.
Like, just that friendship and the camaraderie that you get, the competitiveness, like, it encompasses everything, except the biggest thing is it doesn't discriminate against anybody. No. Paintball does not discriminate. And whether you're playing tournament paintball or you're going to a big game to have fun, I did see, I think was it Ricky or someone was mentioning that some big games got canceled. I mean, big games are a great way to, like, go out there and have fun, and that's actually another driving factor that I recommended to the father that reached out to me. Was like, hey, go play a big game. You know what I mean? Like, go out there and, like, go to the grassroots of paintball, like, where you started. If you're ever finding yourself, and I've said this a million times before, is like, if you ever find yourself stuck in a rut and you're like, oh, I have to go back out there again, like, I'm just not having that much fun, go run out and play some walk-ons. Like, how about Alex? Alex is a perfect example. They'd be like, all right, guys, practice is cut short. We're going out to the hyperball field. Who's with me? It's like he's constantly trying to make sure that everybody's still enjoying themselves and having fun. If you're just going out there and you're dragging your feet and you're like, all right, I got to snap shoot 500 times with my right and 500 times with my left, and it's 115 degrees, like, grab a couple of buddies and go out there and like, one thing that we used to do when we were kids is like, all right, today we have to play with pump guns and we have to play walk-ons, because it was me, Alex, Oliver, Yosh. The four of us go out there. Like, Eric Crandall, who was running Mare Island, was like, dude, please don't go out there and beat up all the walk-ons. And we're like 14, 15, 16 years old, and we're like, Eric, we're going to be fine. And then we're like, all right, guys, let's just play left-handed, pump guns only, and, like, let's just work on these skill sets. And it's just another way to get creative, but still have so much fun to do it, So, I mean, like, I'm a huge advocate for big games. I know you know that. Like, I've been telling you, I think anytime that I'm like, let's go play a big game, you're like, what are you talking about? It's just so much fun. I've got that big game that we did in the what was it, Santas versus Grinches. I got that one up on the YouTube channel. For those of you guys who are watching this, I took my fiance Camille out to play paintball for the very first time. She basically won the entire big game in the first 3 minutes of the whole deal.
Yeah.
By capturing the flag in the middle and hanging it, and they go, all right, okay, there's gonna be a break. We're gonna have to reset everything.
Yeah.
And then also, I'll swipe over here because I just got confirmation today. Kyle, you're gone here for a second. Clowns versus Zombies 10. Just got confirmation from TJ, the owner of Paintball Explosion in Chicago, that this is going to be going down on October 4th. They're going to be doing a couple of little mini games here and there. This is probably my favorite event. My favorite events of the year. Summer camp is on top of that. World Cup and Vegas are also on the top of the list there. But this is so much fun because the environment is great. It just like being able to understand how big games work, and like everything that goes into preparing it. It's not just send out invitations and hopefully 500 people show up on each side. Like the way that they do like the missions, like one team at this time has to go defend a bus while the other team simultaneously is trying to take over the bus.
Yeah.
And so like all these mission packets come out at the exact same time. Or if you're like me and the tip of the spear, we just go out there and just shoot as many people as we possibly can.
Yeah.
So that's huge. I'm also the current world champion pistolero. I hold the pistol championship award, and then I also shot a bunch of people. The head dude for the mag.
Yeah.
The mag fed thing.
Yeah.
They gave me one of those things, and I play this against this kid. I had to play against him last year and the year before in the finals, and he is a dual wield pistol guy. He plays on the Ghost crew, and this dude is like running around like Keanu Reeves in The Matrix, jumping through the air, shooting two-handed, like no joke, and like accurately. You got the Reaper walking around, like just kind of like walking straight at you, so you get to tee off on him quite a bit. But
I
those
timed
things
that a little late.
What's that?
I tried to time that right. Like I was pushing it off the screen.
Oh yeah,
I was a little
good.
late. Yeah.
I thought it was a fly. So that's a super fun event. I'll be there October 4th. I think on the 3rd we're gonna do the MagFed stuff to get like extra mission points. If you're really into the mission things. Admittedly, I don't do the missions, and I probably should, because the last 2 years I've lost. My team has been lost. You don't know any. I'm like speaking Chinese to you right now. You just
no, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know anything. I like big games. I'm not the biggest fan of them.
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
I
can see. I'm just looking at you right now, and I can already see that.
I'm not very. I'm not very excited. Yeah.
I don't care what you're saying right now. Yeah. So anyway, if anybody is from the Chicago area, please join me there. I think I've got a couple of Clowns versus Zombies videos up on at least one up on my YouTube channel also. Where I shoot I think I shot 53 people in one sitting in like a 5-minute video, maybe less.
Damn.
And I got a little kill counter going up on the side.
I think you showed me that a long time ago.
It was like ding 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 ding. So that's super sick.
Yeah.
It's just so much fun. I love it. I can't wait. I'm just super jazzed. I know that Vic is coming out there. Brian Regularly's going out there. I'm gonna try to get Ronnie Dees on to go because he's from the area. I believe Wolf will be there. Reaper will be there. For those of you guys who play, who know who they are. Panther 512 sounds like you're going. Maybe the Clowns. I'm not sure. So yeah, if you're there, let's go. What was Scott's instance? Scott, what was your question? Yeah, Tom, pump does make you sharp. I'll tell you what, man. When you're trying to snap shoot against a guy with a pump gun, have you ever tried to snap shoot against a guy with a pump gun?
Yeah, when we played that tournament, it was awful.
Yeah.
We said, hey, we'll just hold in the back and let them come close to us, and then we'll shoot them all. And then we got rolled up by a pump team, bad. I think they were 5 alive against, a full Dynasty roster. Ridiculous.
I think somebody was asking, did I play with my 16-inch barrel? Yes, this weekend. You better believe it. Look at that sucker. That thing's got some length on it. Kyle took that picture. I was pretty excited. I was shooting people. I was very accurate with that thing.
That's good that you didn't shoot your finger right there.
I was worried about it. That's why my hand's not on the trigger right there.
Yeah, okay, I see that.
I just didn't want to shoot my finger off. So there it is, 16-inch tip. What does it do? Is it any better? Well, did I just lose us? You know, I did notice a slight difference in the sound signature. It was a little bit quieter, more porting. That's probably the reason. Accuracy is based substantially on the type of quality of paint that you're using. So we were using, you know, some pretty good paint, and it's shooting pretty straight. But yeah, I mean, you're gonna get a quieter gun, and then if you're playing in the woods, obviously you can just kind of manipulate the bunkers around. So that's how that. Yeah, Brian, I know ICPL is that weekend, which is really strange. It's also subsequently in Chicago, so that's kind of a bummer because I think that there would be a little bit more players that would want to play both. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Brad, that was a camera on my barrel. It was called a Tacticam camera. Do I have any footage? I might have when I was talking about how I dove and dropped my gun. I fumbled. I didn't drop it. I fumbled it.
Maybe it was because of the barrel.
No, it was because I haven't dove on the ground in a long time. Yeah.
It was funny because I got shot out earlier in the point. Was it the first point?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got shot out like a little bit earlier in the point. So I'm sitting. There's these little wooden seats on the outside of the field, and I'm sitting there. I'm watching Ryan, and I have a smoke chrome lens on, and I see it happen, and I'm looking at Ryan, and I instantly look away because I was like, man, he's going to be embarrassed, and I don't want him to have to see that I saw. Maybe he thinks that no one saw it. We'll just let it go. But there was a photographer there to maybe capture the photo.
Yeah, I mean, I looked right up at her, and I go, damn it. I was about to be like, don't take that picture. But I just saw it, and I go, ugh.
Should have just shot right into the lens really quick.
No, because you sent me a bunch of pictures. I'll put the picture up. I'll put the sequence
Wait,
up.
is there photos of me too in there? Or just you?
No, she doesn't like you.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
she
rough.
knows you're a jerk.
Yeah.
I'll just grab this one because this is probably the silliest looking one out of all of them.
D's on really quick to answer a question you asked a second ago about when we're planning to start practicing. I don't know about you guys. We're just getting into the talks just to make sure that we have all the dates right, and I'm sure some looking at travel regulations, but that should be starting obviously pretty soon. I know that Houston Heat, AC Dallas, and X Factor just had a big practice, right?
Yeah, and that's actually a good point because that is something that I would love to be able to set up too. You know, like, but that's a really good question. You know, how are we going to set anything up like that, right? That's kind of what I was mentioning, right? Is like those guys have such an opportunity, having all those fields always open to be able to do it. Obviously, something that I would love to be able to do. But, all right, here we go. Ready? Look at this. Here it is. It's a nice one, right? There I am. So, yeah. There was a sequence of this. I can't pull up the whole sequence right just this quickly. But there I am doing exactly what I said. But, you know, if this were on my form and body mechanics thing and someone submitted this, I go, hey, man, you're holding your gun wrong. But no, and like I know exactly what it breaks down to, and this is actually for those of you guys who are not BKI members. This is something that we cover in my form and body mechanics. But the reason that the gun probably shifted out of my hands, aside from not having a great grip on it, was because you can tell how close my elbows are to the center of my body. I can't really draw on this thing really, but if you kind of like see how tucked in my elbows are to the center of my body, that means my upper body, my weight is kind of rolling over those arms. And so in effect, I should have had my arms extended further, and it would have made it for a smoother landing, right? And probably what's happened is I hit my arms on the ground really hard, and then it ended up jolting my gun out, right? So the idea is you want to be as extended out as possible.
Yeah.
But when you're right here, you know when you do that,
you're like,
gun, so I just dropped the thing. I don't think it actually fell directly on the ground at any point. I think it just kind of like bounced out and I caught it. So it's actually almost even more skillful. It's even more
grabbed it back.
Yeah,
I remember that.
It's like almost more skillful to have that happen than anything else, really.
Yeah.
So I'll give myself a pat on the back for that one.
For you guys that are maybe missed the beginning, we will do a recap here in a minute of kind of the main big things that we're talking about today. One thing I did want to talk about, I'll write in the comments, but if you have a a pen and paper handy, I would write this down. I was thinking about it this weekend. I've been coaching this team a few times, and I was trying to think, like, how can I get all five of my guys on the same page without making things too complicated and going like, this guy does this guy does this guy does this. So I broke it down into these 4 steps, and it's essentially 3 steps, but the first one I talked about was like, everyone going out needs to know the intent of the point. And that's the what are we trying to accomplish? Are we trying to, go down the snake and do a heavy snake play? Okay, so my Dorito guys know that they need to value their life a little more. Are we going up the middle? Okay, the other 4 guys need to value their life so that they can feed that guy information, allow him some time to work, and then vice versa the Dorito side. The next step on that, is the strategy and the execution. That's a how. How are we going to go out and do this? What are the bunkers that we need to go to so that everybody on the team knows, what their role is, in a sense, with that core idea of the intent of the point. And then that also, knowing the strategy goes into adapting, which is the third one. Every single point, you have a game plan. Someone's on your team most likely is going to get shot. How are you going to adapt to what just happened?
Plan B.
Plan B, yeah. And that's the if. What if this happens? So just, knowing the intent of the point is kind of going to help direct you, in my eyes, in the most simplest way you can put it, so that everyone's kind of on the same page without getting too complicated. And then the last step is just closing. Always be thinking about how you're going to close that point. What do we need to do to close that point? Just worrying about yourself and, okay, I'm just going to shoot this guy here and play my role, like constantly in your head going like, what do we need to do to position ourselves, myself and my teammates included? But if I suggest to a lot of you guys that are on teams, bring that back to your teams. And I'll write that down in the comments, but that is something that you can take in a very simple manner without getting too complicated with things, that I think that will help your team succeed and help you overall as a player.
Yeah, that was good. And actually, one little morsel that I heard you explaining to those Warpath guys is like, and I shared it with my team for Sunday, was like, to help slow the game down. For some people. So for myself, I kind of already know what everybody's supposed to do. I'm pretty well aware of what the game plan is and how to play everybody's position well enough to kind of like see when someone may or may not be in distress or could possibly may or may not be able to execute a move that they should do.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But obviously that's not an obvious portion for everybody, right?
Yeah.
That's not an obvious understanding for everybody. So like what you had mentioned was just if you're engaged or you're feeling like you're not doing something or you're struggling on the field a little bit, it helps just to like take a deep breath and look around and seeing what the guys around you or next to you are doing.
Yeah.
Because then you can get a better understanding, and what that's going to do is it's going to slow the game down, because a lot of people are constantly rushing and they're constantly like, what's going on? Like, I got to do something. I have to be to be engaged with something.
Yeah.
When that's not always the case. Or on my team, for instance, I'll say, hey, you got to go to the corner and you got to help Zach move up underneath into the Doritos by shooting into the back center. Well, they'll go to the corner, and they'll be shooting here, they'll be shooting there, they'll be doing this, they're doing everything that I said not to do.
Yeah.
Or everything but what I told them to do.
Sure, yeah.
And then the other player will get there, and they'll be like, oh, hey, help me. And then they'll just try to do it. But instead, if one person just stops, and then you go, all right, look, Kyle. Hey, Kyle.
Yeah.
Can you put this guy in for me?
Yep.
That's right, I remembered now. Because once the game happens, once the game, which we hear the buzzer, there's this huge endorphin explosion release.
Yeah.
That everybody's now, like, firing off, and it's like that whole plan B concept is like out the window.
Yeah.
And so they're like, I gotta go, I gotta do this and this and this, rather than remembering exactly the steps of plan A.
Yeah.
Right. So some people are almost over adapting, and they're just kind of doing what they see. Like, I see it, I feel it. Like, you'll hear that a lot. But if you just kind of stop, take a breath, and look around you for a second, don't take yourself out of the game, but look around and say, all right, I need this guy's help. Or Kyle was not supposed to be in the center. He's supposed to be in the snake. Like, what are you doing over there?
Sure.
Or hey, can we get you into this spot? And that's one thing that we're, I guess, more used to doing, is helping to quarterback the situation. And that's what it is you're taking control of the situation.
Yeah, it was like a big thing too this weekend when I was coaching my guys, that I was like, as a front player, what if you run to the snake off the break, or if you run to like a Dorito 30 or 40 area, initially when you get to that spot, you've already done the hard work, and at that point, the whole other team, their best bet, and they're doing everything they can for the next 15 to 30 seconds to try to shoot you out. So giving them that opportunity by trying to instantly engage with someone is giving you a very high risk opportunity. So you're actually at that point, you almost turn essentially into a bad guy in a sense early in the game, that those guys actually are doing a big job right now. You've done your job early in the game. So you throw the ball back to them by communicating what you've seen and where the holes are, where the opportunities are. If you're behind me and I get all the way to the snake 3 off the break, and I see that the back center and the snake insert bunker are both shooting at me, I'm going to give you that information to allow you to move into a better position behind me where you can help support those guys, and then give me the ball back so that I can start doing stuff, and you're feeding me information.
Yeah, that's why I'm a huge advocate of this 2-man operation when we're doing it. It's like I really, really try to emphasize that and really get players in that mentality, which a lot of teams don't do. It's almost like a West Coast, East Coast offense. Like a lot of teams like doing just a 1-man hold and a 1-man attack.
Yeah. And then think that
we'll do this a lot. Like Impact does that a lot.
Yeah.
They'll put like J-Rab in the back center, JC as the offense, or Brandon Cornell as the offensive guy. Yeah. And then Nick will be in the center also, and then you and Mouse will be over on the snake side, but usually it's just one guy over there, and then I'll put me and Tyler or Yosh and Blake or something like that to gang up on J-Rab to get our guy to punch really quickly. Yeah. And that's kind of like one, kind of concept. Panther, thank you for pointing that out. That photo of me falling, along with a couple other really good photos, was from Stephanie B. Photo. That's who took that shot. So thank you very much, or thank her very much, if anybody can do that. I've actually already thanked her via Instagram. Dizon, actually, there's a good point about that, how I dove. I actually was trying to adjust because there was a guy in the center that popped out to shoot at me, so I slid out wide. However, I should have still been able to accommodate myself sliding on the ground. I definitely shouldn't have done it. And then for those of you guys, Kyle posted those 5 steps or 4 steps, intent, strategy, adapt, and close. He posted those things in the comment chat section. So if you guys did not get a chance to write that down, if you're driving or if you're running or you're not near
put it in there.
Paper, you guys can copy that and use that for next weekend.
Maybe I'll elaborate on a little BKI schoolroom type drill.
Yep, and this just in, Dizon, thanks for mentioning that Trent Nita from Team USA from the BKI Summer Camp, from the BKI program. Trent Nita practiced with X Factor this weekend. I just talked to Archie, and he said he played really well, and it was him and another kid from his team. So that's really cool to hear that look, turning players into pros. Trent's not a pro yet, but practicing with a pro team is right there.
That's what's so awesome about that too. And I was just driving back yesterday. I got on the phone with Mouse and we were having a long talk just about different life stuff, but paintball in general. And he was telling me, because we're playing this tournament in a few weeks, and he was like, I've been watching some videos of some up and coming snake players just to kind of like assess them and see where they're at and see if they have like what it takes. And he's like, it's not that they're that bad, but he's like, what's crazy is there's like Division 1, Division 2, and semi-professional players that they just don't get recognized, and they might be as good, if not better, than some of the players that are already in the pro league, but the opportunities aren't there. So like with a situation like that, which we constantly talk about, coming to camps like this and coming to BKI and networking and like I always say, I'm like, you have to start building friendships with these pro players, because those are the ones that are going to get you in the door. And that is a perfect testament to it with Trent, because X Factor is a powerhouse team. They could easily go, you know what, we're not going to take we're not going to give this kid an opportunity. Let's just look at the top, out of the top 10 teams and take our pick of a snake player who we want, whether it's not an elite guy, but like look at like LJ Parrish on the Ironman, who had a really standout event in Vegas. And then, these big teams that have a lot of money to throw around, they go, let's just grab him. He's already got some experience. And then versus in a situation like this, you get that grassroots grooming, and you get those kids and they I think it's a really good thing that these kids are making a showing and starting to get these opportunities, especially like Austin Beatty from Diesel. It's like regardless too. In my podcast, I talked about like regardless too if Austin was ready to be at the pro level yet, he's gonna get there because he's there playing. He has that opportunity.
Yeah, and he's constantly immersed in that.
If he's not quite the well-rounded pro player yet, but he's gonna get fast tracked.
That's for sure. Yeah, great. Well, that hour flew by quickly. I was stoked on this one. Still wait for some more announcements from the NXL.
We need to have
the winners.
a recap. Well, the winners.
Okay.
I guess the biggest factors that we're talking about today was the NXL announcements.
Maybe no Ironman.
Yeah, maybe potentially no Ironman.
Maybe some other teams might drop out.
We were gonna have that. We thought the Russians weren't gonna play, but we also got some information. That's why it took us a little long to jump on here. But they're gonna be playing. Was there any more NXL?
No, just kind of
regulations.
It'll be. I recommend that if you guys are thinking about playing the NXL and registration opens, you should jump in and pay for the registration.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be open to an unlimited amount of players. That was made very apparent by Tom.
Okay.
He was like, we cannot open the gates to everybody.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
So it's not going to be like let's try to break records this year.
No, we're not breaking records. We're definitely not breaking records. And this is mandated by the local government, right? You can only have X amount of people in a certain amount of space, and so with that being said, that they can only it's not going to be a 15 field NXL World Cup. It will still have a great feel for World Cup, but it's going to be substantially different. But we're going to have to deal with it just like we're dealing with everything else. So
and airlines too, like you can buy a flight right now, and you could I bought a flight the other day when we went to Idaho, and I called up and I was like, what's the regulation to cancel on this? She's like, it's supposed to be 48 hours, but honestly, like, you can call us within 24 hours and cancel the flight to get your money back. It's like, there's big opportunities. So
So, I mean, get your guys together, and when that opens, book it. I'm hoping that they're going to make an actual official announcement soon. He was also passed by me a couple of things that they're planning on doing for next year to help decrease the overall cost for a lot of teams and increase prize money and prize packages for a substantial amount of teams. So that's something that they might have released. That's still in the makings. Next week, we'll have pictures of of Boston Paintball's new Twister. I don't know what platform gun it is. Did that person win something?
Did he win?
Or? He won on my thing.
Oh, he did? Wow.
Yeah. I think
he's on top of it.
Oh, wow.
Well, I mean, there's just... I'm checking the messages here. So.
Sorry. The BKI members, if you are a member of BKI, you will have first crack at pre-orders for the new Twister. There's only going to be 200 guns. I know that sounds like a lot, but these things sell out in less than 24 hours normally. So I don't know what platform it is. I don't know if it's a VM68, a Tippmann, a Planet Eclipse gun, a Dye M3X squared. Or if it's a Force, or who else makes guns? An Axe plus Cash,
Lux.
possibly. A Lux, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wow. So I don't know what the platform is, but generally the Twister platform is probably one of the cooler millings out there that you can possibly get. And then obviously, aside from the stock Force milling and the stock body Force, but it's a really cool gun, and those things sell out really fast. So BKI members are going to get first crack at it. Then it'll be open to the public. We'll have images of it next week. No, I don't know what it is. Dizon, I swear to God. This is my information that I got right here. Twister, BKI members pre-order, 200 only. Don't know. He goes, I will let you know. I know, right? I could probably ask him and he'll tell me, but I don't know. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to announce my winners. The 2 BKI subscribers that are going to win one of these things shipped to you each is Broderick Ward and Sean Byrne. Sean Byrne and Broderick Ward. And then the random player that's just in the comment section, Gabe Land. So I'm sending out 3 of these things with some HK Army stickers. The 3 of you guys, Broderick Ward, Gabe Land, and Sean Byrne. You guys all, yep, there we go. Shout out to Gabe. Shout out to all you guys. Shout out to everybody who's in here. But please, we realized this last week, when we stop this this stream, all of the live chat information goes away.
How do we fix that? How do we,
I have no idea.
It?
I gotta do some Googling after this. But yes, that's right, Scott. VM68. So if all three of you guys can message us either on Instagram, you can email me, Ryan Greenspan 18@gmail. You can message Kyle to send him your address. But just shoot me an Instagram message. Don't put it in these comments because as soon as we click end, we lose you all.
So for my winners for the Lyle Cairn shirt, I'm gonna pick Clay Twan. I have your Instagram here, so I'll message you for your address. And then for the BKI shirt, who actually also messaged me about the Lyle Cairn thing, so doubled up, and he put one of my favorite drills too, the race to the 50 drill, and elaborate on it because of the endurance and accuracy, the thrill, intensity of that drill. And so I'm picking Dustin Hoyd to win this, so reach out. I think I have your contact here also, so I can shoot you a message and get that address.
All right. Killer. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. We will be back to our regularly scheduled programming on Monday of next week. We're going to do a little WCPPL update. I've got some new pants dropping from HK Army. I have the sample photos, so I'll drop those things next week. Really excited about that. And then yeah, support paintball by going out there and playing some paintball and sharing this little live feed with everybody like that. And thank you guys for being very active in the comment box. That's always awesome. And we'll see you next week at 4 p.m. Pacific time on Monday.
All right, boys.
Cheers, guys.
Later.